have a dog?
What's up, everybody? Niger here from Big Bell Media. Very, very excited today. This is a week everybody has been looking forward to as the release of James Gunn DCU Superman hits theaters July 11th. I'm here with one of the stars of the film who just killed it on the red carpet. Bonnie Discepolo, thank you so much for your time. I can't even believe we've never crossed paths because I've seen your work as a avid film festival goer and somebody who thoroughly supports independent films. I can't believe this is the first time that we get a chance to talk. But what better week to do so than the release of one of the biggest films of the year, and that's Superman. How you doing today?
Hi, Niger. Thank you so much for having me. I'm thrilled to talk to you. Can't wait to talk about Superman.
Now what I'll tell you before we get started. I said you don't be humble, don't be shy. No, no, no. That same measure of energy when you grace the red carpet with that fabulous blue dress, the star you are. Congratulations, and not only just congratulations on that film because you also have a film right now in the film festival circuit, which we'll talk about in a second. But like let's just call it what it is. 2025 has been your year. This is your year. You have claimed it. And I think that's the essence of you stepping on the carpet and showing people that you are the real deal. Now, I know you talked in other interviews before you seen the film.
Yes.
So now that you've seen it, I've seen it, you got to experience it at the world premiere with probably the hottest crowd in the entire world, the most avid James Gunn fans, DCU fans, Superman fans, everybody all in one space. How have you taken it all in?
I was talking to Stephen Blakehart, who plays Happerson in the movie yesterday, and we were sort of doing a download of like, how's it been for you? How's it been for me? And I have to say, Niger, it it's a gigantic problem because this all happened, filming it, doing the red carpet, meeting the fans, seeing it at Grauman's, and I was like, well, it's even better than I dreamed it would be. It turns out it's the best thing, the most meaningful thing, the most rewarding thing. And I was like, well, darn, now all I want to do is this, you
Yeah.
know? That's a terrible situation.
I love that for you, man. Again, congratulations. Yeah, talk me through the red carpet. Obviously, they eyed the date when it was going to happen. And obviously you were aware of the date, and at that moment you knew you had to prepare, and maybe you did a couple of jumping jacks and yelling at the top of your lungs because you're like, man, this is a big deal, and as it truly was. And then you obviously graced the red carpet. We got to talk about the fashion, the folks help make that moment happen, or anybody else that got you to that point. But
Absolutely.
ultimately, you did it. You shut it down. The vibes look great. You look fabulous, amazing, great. I couldn't think of the word I want to say, but all of them at the same time. But no, no, but truly, from that moment you got the call or email, whatever it was, to the moment that you graced, the photographers was there. Just talk me through all of that, and even talk me through anything that like really stood out to you from being there in that moment.
Yeah, I mean, I think the number one thing that stands out above everything else was the fans. Um, Getting to like I have goosebumps. I don't know what this is called. I have to look it up, but anytime I feel emotional, I get goosebumps.
Yeah. Dwayne Johnson does it all the time. He always gets
Really?
goosebumps in big moment, and he always goes like that. Watch him. Every
Yeah,
of his
I
big moments, he
will.
always does it.
But so like if somebody is like pitching me a story and I get goosebumps, I'm like, oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, yeah,
But when I think about the fans, I get goosebumps because I love making movies. I love Superman, but we only get to do it because of the fans. It's a
yeah.
co-creation. And so to step onto Hollywood Boulevard and see hundreds and thousands of people who came out just to watch it happen, that was the thing and the moment that just made me realize like this is a symbiotic relationship. We are coming together to tell a story, but it only exists because of the people who, want to share and engage with the story. So uh, it, I'm speechless about it. I love the fans.
Yeah, yeah. Now the dress.
The dress.
The dress.
I have to pronounce this. Let me make sure I'm pronouncing it exactly
Okay.
right, because it would be a tragedy if I didn't pronounce it perfectly.
And
Okay.
obviously, everybody, step over to our social media. You see all the good BTS from it. Again, it was a lot of stars on there, but I mean, like, I'm not saying it biasly, but you really stood out. One, because Superman blue, and just how elegant it looked. I was like, oh yeah, she came to play.
Thank you. Well, my
Absolutely.
stylist is Chloe Crosby, and she killed it. Like I kept being like, "Oh, I want to wear something like sleek and small," and she was like, "Bonnie, it's Superman." And she was like, "Just try this dress on again." So she had these amazing dresses, one red, one blue, and she was like, "It's Superman." Like so that was all her. I can take zero credit. She put
Yeah.
me in it, and I was like, "I don't know, it's a lot of dress." And she was like, "No, you wear this dress. This dress is amazing." And the gown, a sapphire gown, it's a nickel sposa.
Okay.
Nickel sposa. Yeah, I mean, and then once I saw the pictures myself, I was like, oh, Chloe was right. Like, I can't believe I wanted to wear a black dress on this carpet. She was right. She knew what she was doing.
Yes,
She
she
had a
did.
vision. But the greatest Nigeria. I was talking to Nicholas Holt at the after party, and I was like, oh, this was amazing. And he just like sort of like stopped in his brain, short circuited for a second. And he was like, Bonnie. He was like, you look like Jessica Rabbit. And then like he said, in a good way. And I was like,
Yeah.
Nick Holt, I don't take that in a bad way. Thank you. And he was like, okay, well, I make a lot of cartoon references. And I was like, no, no, no. Jessica Rabbit is an icon that I
Yeah.
very enthusiastic that you
Yeah.
think I look like tonight. Thank you.
Yeah, I know exactly what he means. It's the or, anywhere or set that she steps in, it's all about her. And I think that's a true testament. And coming from Mr. Nicholas Hoult himself, I mean,
Yeah,
my compliment
it was
there.
great. I was like,
Yeah.
I'll take it. Thank you,
Yeah.
Nick.
You know, I'm having a good week because having a chance to talk to you, obviously with Superman right now, and earlier this week I got to talk to a friend of yours about her latest film, Nuked, and Anna
Anna
Kent.
Kim! You talked
And
to
I was
Anna
like,
Kim!
and
That's
y'all got a
awesome!
project together, so
That's
I
sweet.
gotta ask you, what is your two relationship? That isn't your latest project, isn't y'all first collaboration.
No.
So yeah, what is the relationship between you two?
I mean, Anna Camp is my best friend, and I'm lucky that she's also one of the most talented actors working in film and television.
Yeah.
So I directed her for the first time when we were kids, doing theater in high school, and then I can't remember. I directed a short film called Graceland, and I pitched it to her, and I was like, Anna, she's a famous, successful actress. I was like, I'm gonna make a short film, and like, if you want to do it. And I told her what the idea was, and she just said, that's a great idea, write it, I'll do it. So we made that, and it went great. We went to Tribeca. It was a great collaboration. I was like, oh, well, she's so talented. And I mean, as you know, like she's great in Nuked.
Yeah.
She's so, so funny in Nuked.
Yeah.
Um, and then she was making Neodome. She produced it, and she suggested to the producers that the other producers that I come in and pitch on it. So I pitched them my vision, and she hired me. So it's been this wonderful collaboration of I brought her into Graceland, and then she brought me into Neodome, and it's I'm yeah, I just love her.
I mean, that's truly the definition of a friendship there, to have each other's back, to lobby for each other in moments.
Yeah.
Like, I love that. Which means I got many more years of collaboration to come.
Absolutely. I'd be so lucky to get to keep directing her. She's so good, and I'm
Yeah.
thrilled that between you and Nuke and Brightheart, that I finally feel like the rest of Hollywood is seeing like she's not just a blonde, that she
Yeah.
really has like the chops to be, one of the greatest actors working.
Yeah. I said it to her, and yeah, folks can check out the interview right now. I said to her, I said her performance in You is easily the best performance this year.
I
And
agree.
I don't even foresee anybody topping that right now. It's that good. That good.
The No spoilers, but there is a moment where she's playing both twins and
See,
not
this is what I talked
impersonating
about.
both of the twins, and it was like this is like layers of the Matrix.
Exactly.
And if people aren't talking about playing three characters in one moment and going back and forth, come on.
So that's exactly what I asked her because I said like you're twin A and twin B, but when twin A has to be B, you're not fully B. You're like, A negative or B positive. Like you're just a little bit different, which is masterful
It is
because
masterful.
because most people would think like if I gotta be that person, I might as well just be that person. But like
Yeah.
it's like no, you
No.
see the mannerisms difference, like everything, where it's like you can sense something's a little off. That's not quite her. And then when the reveal started to come, you are like, wow.
Yeah.
Wow, wow, wow. Yeah, folks, check
Truly
out the last season of You on Netflix. As Hannah is the real deal.
multi-cross promotion.
Yeah. So let's talk about your work as Miss Jessup because I think when understanding or being labeled as Lex is like flunky or just what do you want to call it, stooges, whatever it may be. First and foremost, you may
I
think
like
that
employee.
yeah. Okay, right. Yeah, you got benefits at Let's Corp. I got it. I got it. But this is truly a comic book character. So I just want to make sure folks don't think that this is like some supporting random extra in the background. Like, no, this is a character that if you go back in the comics, many editions that this character exists and there's story to be told there, which we could talk about a little bit. But I've seen the film. I want to go on the deep end because I know you haven't had a chance to really talk about this stuff yet. Now, one thing I noticed, and folks, when you check out the film, you'll see. And there's no spoilers here, but we
Okay.
know
I was
Lex.
like,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
it
We
comes
know
out
Lex.
July 11th. I can't say anything. I
We
had
know
fun.
Lex is Superman's arch nemesis. There's a hatred, and Lex's supreme goal is to expose Superman, to shatter his reputation. He wants to be king. He can't even imagine he isn't the biggest thing talked about on Earth right now. How could it be this alien that's doing these things that are questionable in his eyes that's getting all the love, and his whole goal is to get rid of that. And of course, by that mission statement of his and all of his ambitions around that, of course the people around him are following suit, which you see at your characters throughout the film. The team of folks cheering for the wins. Lex Luthor, as we know, one of the most brilliant people in DC Comics, it's no question that he can outsmart Superman. And we see this throughout the film at times that he does what he does. And of course, the team is like, we are winning. We got this. And with that, though, at some point in the film, does the conflict not it, this is what I really like about your character and the characters, his employees, shall I say, is typically with the villain. We see the villain go through the conflict of what's right and what's wrong. Lex never stirs off his ship. But we see it with you all. I want to know if you could talk a little bit about what was it with your character, at what point did a consciousness start to grow where it became less about Lex Luthor's motivations and ambitions and more about the people, humanity, society. When and how did that sort of start to blossom with you and your character?
Yeah, so it's a great question. I'm going to be very careful because I don't want to say anything that would spoil a single moment of the film for fans who are going to see it this
Yeah.
weekend.
Yeah.
But I think, in the comic books, and what is really beautifully distilled by James Gunn in this film is that he sets up, Lex Luthor as brains and the idea that it's brains versus brawn.
Yeah.
And I think that is the fatal flaw in Lex Luthor. And what everyone realizes is that he thinks it's brains versus brawn, but it's really brains versus heart.
Mm, mm. Okay. Okay. Mm. Um, I have to know because there's so much small tidbits of comedic moments amongst your folks. What was sort of the vibe and energy in terms of filming and any moments you sort of look back and sort of cherish within the filming process?
I I cherish every moment. It was, I mean, from the moment we walked onto set until right now talking to you, every step of this has been an absolute dream come true.
Yeah.
But James Gunn is the best in the business. You know, he surrounds himself with kind, talented, capable people. He is amazing at recognizing talent, of elevating people, and creating this environment where you're free to play. And so he set in this very humane way. We would show up at 9, we would film until 7. It was on the same set every day. And so we got to do it like it was theater. You know, it was a family of this is my station, these are my people, these are my colleagues. So much of what was happening was just it was just real. It was great people making great friendships, telling a great story all together. Was the most fun I've ever had.
Mm, I love that. Did you ever look at Steven's mustache and just chuckle?
I mean, I looked at it yesterday and I was like, this is great. You are Havertz. Like he has created, like you look at the comic. I don't know. Have you talked to him yet?
No, I haven't.
Oh,
No, no.
like if you look at the comic, he just was like, okay, I'm gonna make myself this person, and
Yeah.
it's great. I mean, Stevie's a great actor, but I think Happerson is his greatest work yet. I think the fans are gonna love him.
Yeah. And then I mean, obviously working up close and personal with Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor, which a lot of people have been coining as the best portrayal of this character ever.
I got
And
goosebumps again.
yeah, he's fantastic. And there's a lot
Fantastic.
of takes with his performance. Folks saying that he carried the film. Folks are saying, again, this is the best portrayal of Lex they've ever seen. Must watch, scene stiller, all those sorts of different things. Fantastic performance nonetheless. But with him though, we see an array of emotions with this guy. A little bit of narcissism, anger. I will say, moments where he felt very fulfilled for the things he's done, self-accomplished, so a little, jockey at times. He gives you it all, and that's what you expect with Lex and Nicholas, who's been on fire for the last 2 or 3 years straight. You being a witness to this, and obviously you still have to act as well too, because by proxy you have to keep it on straight in order to make everything work. But like, what's going through your head in terms of seeing his performance? Your thoughts about his performance, and then was there notes kind of given to you all in terms of like complimenting the scenes to making sure that it does look very flesh and fluent amongst the folks?
Yeah,
Like, I think the best way to say it is that we needed to understand and believe what the workplace culture was at all times with this
yeah,
guy. And it looked believable. And that's why like the conflict that I'm talking about it makes so good for film by that point that you're like, oh wow, this is either for some folks this may be sort of you might feel familiar in this situation, but nonetheless you understand and identifying what's happening. But yeah, what was just your thoughts on that?
I mean, there's so many things. First of all, Lex, but not just Nicholas Hoult. I mean, David Corn Sweat, Rachel Brosnahan, Eddie. I can't say his last name.
Yeah.
Every single one of these people was bringing their absolute A+ game.
Yeah.
Everyone took it so seriously and was so prepared that we were able to get onto set and play. because
Yeah.
you have to take it so seriously that then you're free to play. But I do know there was one moment where I was watching Nick as my character, doing my scene, and then I had this internal thought, and I was like, wait a second, Bonnie, like you can't just watch him. You have to be playing the scene. Because he was so good that I forgot myself for a moment. I was like, wow, he's good.
Yeah, yeah. So, what were some of the notes or tidbits that kind of gave you all the kind of stay consistent there? Like, because the array of emotions, like I don't want to spoil anything, but there's definitely some very micro aggressive moments, and I know for me as the viewer, it's kind of like we see him sort of crescendo to anger, and then it explodes, and as the viewer, you're kind of like, oh wow, he's like, oh my God,
Yeah.
like,
I
but
mean,
you have to be set the
so,
entire time.
James created the world. We walked onto our set. We had our stations. He gave us conversation about, like, what are the stakes? What do we want? What does Lex want? What are we working to do? And then playing that throughout the movie, that's just you invest in the storytelling and then the cameras are rolling.
Got
So
it.
I think it's just believing in the given circumstances and really fully being in the world. And that's what I think this movie does in a way that I don't think I've seen since Star Wars. Like I really
Hmm.
feel like this is the beginning of a whole new universe, but it is the comic book come to life.
Yeah.
James poured through those comic books and said, "Okay, I'm going to make Superman and Lex and Lois, and I'm going to make it the truth of the comic books."
Yeah.
So as actors, all we had to do was say, "Oh, okay, we're in the comic book. Go."
I love that. I really do. This is obviously not your first time working with James. You will have worked on many projects. But
Not many, many. I was lucky to have a very small part in Guardians of the Galaxy in the
yeah,
credits. This is the first time I've really worked with him, and
thoroughly wrong. Okay,
so
got it. And I guess more or less where I'm going at is that like we know you're no stranger to him, his culture, and the relationship, getting the call from him, working with him, and then being a part of his vision is what I'm at with here. And the one thing with James, and I guess why I exaggerate on the many is because what we do know about him is that when you're a part of his family, you tend to ride it out with him for endless projects.
I mean, from your mouth to the head of DC's ears, I think I'm so lucky and I'm so grateful. And he does if if he thinks like you're showing up and you're doing the work and you're being nice and you're being talented and
Yeah.
you're like if you're giving 100%, I do think he sees that and gives back. But I also, he is serving the story and the fans. And so whatever is best for the story is what he's always doing. So like if we're lucky enough to continue with him, that would be obviously the greatest dream come true because it's the best job in the world.
Yeah.
But I'm just grateful to have gotten to be a part of this one.
So you're basically saying you're not sure if you're returning for,
I don't think anybody knows anything.
well, how do you feel?
I feel hopeful.
Well, I'll put the energy in the air.
Yeah.
We've seen James, and as we know, as you said, this is the beginning of a world expanding, and Dave has already been talked about, obviously reprising his role of Superman at some point, and obviously you can't have that without Lex, and you gotta have Lex, and you gotta have the crew. So, and as again, that's just why I wanted to make sure I started off the interview with it because it's not like a sense of you just being an extra. This is a comic book character. This is an essential there. This is as much as anybody going out needing to put on their rings and their necklaces to go out and shut down the night. This is what that is here.
I mean,
So
I do have to say, like, I'll have to get it off the bookshelf, but I have the Black Ring comic books. I've been looking through all of Miss Jessop's, things that she does. And I think no matter what happens, I'm proud of Superman. I'm proud of everybody who made it.
Yeah.
If we only get to do one, it still was the greatest joy of a lifetime. But to fulfill the dream of getting to originate a comic book character, like
Yeah.
I'm the first person who's ever played Miss Jessup.
Yeah.
At Goosebumps again. It just like it's a dream come true.
Yeah. Yeah. And be ready. Be ready for that call because what we know about the DCU is that it connects not only via live action, but also on television and also in animated animation and video games, which means that voice acting is one call away, as Frank Grillo knows very personally right now.
Oh,
And we've seen him hit all of them. So,
yeah. I mean, Frank Grillo, what a star. He is
yeah,
so cool.
yeah, he is.
No, but it's funny. I was looking through the Black Rain comics and I was like, wow, okay, so Miss Jessup is also a helicopter pilot. I wonder if I should start taking flying lessons.
Hey, again, be ready when the call comes. That's the name of the game.
Stay ready,
Uh,
you don't have to get ready.
So let's focus a little bit now on you personally and your career because obviously being a part of a big production is all great and all, and this film's going to make a lot of money, and Warner Brothers and DC studios will continue to make many more projects. But as somebody again who advocates for the independent folks, the folks who personally finances their projects and their goals, their visions, their stories, and ultimately deserves the same love as these big budget projects, as we have seen through numerous years through award season, that some of the biggest and best films were on the smallest budgets.
Yes, they were.
Um, so I would love for you to take this the moment, and obviously not only just advocating for yourself, but for all the other ones out there. You've been a part of the big productions, but you've also ran multiple small ones. What did you learn? What do you hope to take and bring back to the smaller productions in order to really amplify what should already have been the deserving folks and hardworking folks in filmmaking on the independent level?
Yeah, I mean, I think the number one thing I learned from James's set is to be more playful. The thing I said about the actors is what he does too. He's so prepared. Everything is storyboarded, every shot is planned, everything is so prepared that in the moment, everyone has the comfort and freedom to say, well, we got this. We know what the plan is. So you can take that breath to follow impulse, to have a little fun, to allow surprises to happen. And I was like, oh, I need to really bring that to smaller sets that
Okay.
let it doesn't have to be perfect. Allow surprises and fun to happen.
I love that. I love that. With that being said, I know we talked about Neodome, but what else might you be working on right now that we could be getting ready for, you know?
I just finished a vampire script that I want to direct and shoot in New England. So I'm, looking for partners on that. Got to get some independent financing because it's period, it's horror, there's children.
Give me a call. I'd love to come check out the set.
Great, great,
That sounds great. And then obviously now we can take a moment to talk about which is now hitting or is currently on the film festival circuit, and that's Neodome. Talk to me about this project. Where is it currently showing, and where do you have next? Which, if you can announce, because I know how you
absolutely.
world premieres, the
Yeah, yeah,
festivals want to
yeah.
announce those themselves.
So Neodome is an independent TV pilot, the one that stars Anna Camp that she produced, and it's kind of like a Mad Max, futuristic sci-fi western. Um, these people are on the road to a utopian dome on the horizon, and we just played the SAG Short Film Showcase, and we played at Bentonville in
I love
Arkansas.
Bentonville.
So great, Gina Davis's.
Yeah.
Wish I could have gone. We've played there twice and I haven't been able to go either time. So I'm just dying to go to Bentonville. Next up, the same weekend as Comic Con. So it's kind of competitive, but
Yeah.
we're playing at Indy Shorts in Indiana. And then we have a big one coming up that I can't announce yet.
Big one coming up. Let me take a guess here. There could be a couple of ones as we get towards the end of the year. It could be going to Toronto. Has Venice already ran this year? Yeah.
I I think it's August, maybe.
Okay. Yeah, me too. And what else is at the end of the year? Think New
Let's
Yorker's
not
already ran.
guess. Let's just know
Yeah. Let's
that
just see
something
how it
wonderful is
is.
coming.
But big and the most important thing is I will say is this sort of right after we get out of the summer, this period is when all the big films are releasing and showing in the film festival, the ones that everybody's going to be talking about. So I'm excited because if you calling it big and then from what this project sounds like, it sounds like it's going to be amazing.
Thank
I think
you.
folks need to keep their eyes glued for it. Bonnie, thank you so much for your time
So
today.
much to hear.
I'm glad. I'm glad. I told you we're gonna have some fun.
We did. You've got a great studio, a great setup.
Thank you. Thank you. I will truly,
Get that.
truly
So I
be.
don't have to be on Earth beaming in.
Well, honestly, after this amazing week that you're having, and it isn't stopping because Superman hits theaters July 11th. You got a little bit more time before everybody else starts to see it. But the reviews are in. People are already raving. Everybody already was excited for it beforehand, and now that folks are seeing it, they're even talking about it a lot more. So, yeah, I would imagine you're not sitting on Earth right now. I believe we call this one Cloud Nine. So, thanks
That's
for being
exactly
on
right.
location today via satellite. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Once again,
Speaking of
Bonnie,
you,
thank you so much for your time today. And again, Superman is in theaters July 11th. Keep an eye out on her socials, which is in the description below, because Neodome is also hitting your latest and hottest film festival coming very, very soon. And then you can keep up with all the other projects coming down the line. As a person, which I didn't say, but let me make sure I say it before we leave, as a person who wears all the hats, writer, director, producer, actor, you want it, she got it. So you definitely want to keep an eye out on all things, Bonnie. And I do truly appreciate your time today. It's been so
thank
much
you
fun.
so much. This is a great interview.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. You have a good rest of your day. Okay.
All right.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.